We're now on the McClure North Sports Set, where students give the latest information on some of the rising stars of their generation, athletes.
But do they know the story of the greatest generation and its heroes? Those Americans who emerged from the Depression to fight and win the most crushing war in human history. The sun is setting on that generation, and the living connections between World War II veterans and our children will be gone. There's a group making the most of this precious time. The group makes it possible for veterans to go see the World War II Memorial in our nation's capital, and for school children in St. Louis to make meaningful connections to their past. Here is the story of Greater St. Louis Honor Flight.
We will be flying them into D.C. We have 23 veterans.
The day starts long before sunup at Lambert Airport.
What would you like, some coffee?
Honor Flight volunteers meet and greet each veteran and their guardian for the journey, in most cases, a vet's son or daughter. This is my father, member of the 8th Air Force 490th Bomb Group. He and the rest here, who served in uniform over 60 years ago, including Louise Eakes, haven't seen the relatively new World War II Memorial.
Yeah, I hope we hang in there, because I usually fall asleep in the afternoon, you know.
I believe 13 or 14 of them are in wheelchairs. So we're going to need everybody to help.
Flight leader Jill Knight has taken this trip 5 times before.
It's a thrill to see these veterans experience this wonderful day. The emotions run the gamut.
Shared experiences, as in fighting a war, create instant bonds. Before today, these veterans had never met, but they aren't strangers.
I ran onto a guy that was in the same position I was. That's what made it interesting to me.
They're really treating us nice.
Today, we are also getting a police escort personally to the World War II Memorial.
Poor health or finances stand in the way for many to make a trip like this. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight pays for everything and pours on the pampering.
And if you look to your right, which you'll get to see up closer, is your memorial.
In the early 1940s, the world was fast falling into the hands of tyranny. The United States and our allies fought back against Germany and Japan, not to conquer, but to free the world. 50 million people died, great parts of the world destroyed. What people gave up at home and on the battlefield to make victory possible has not been matched before or since the war. The spirit of that monumental effort is reflected here. Giant pavilions on each end symbolize a war fought across 2 oceans. Each state is represented. We found Missouri.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is representative of all of the fallen World War II heroes who were not able to make it to their memorial.
The whole story of a nation at war is told. Not only the 16 million Americans who served in uniform, but everyone back home played some part. And that unity made America the world's breadbasket and industrial hub. On Freedom's wall hang golden stars representing the 400,000 Americans who didn't make it home.
Tremendous. It's very humbling as far as I'm concerned.
The memorial is beautiful.
It's been a long time since the war.
I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. I think about it every day.
Amos Almeida and all his brothers served. One of them died. A member of the 101st Airborne, Amos parachuted into Normandy on D-Day. Out of 100 men in his group, he was one of 3 to survive.
My dad was missing in action in Normandy, and when he was missing, my Uncle Charlie, who was in the Navy at the time, had a son. And because my dad was missing in action, he named his son after my dad, Amos. And my cousin Amos said to me one time, and it's really true, he said, he's a good man that did a great thing. And all these guys are.
Emotions are stirred as we make our way around D.C. to visit other markers of honor, reflecting on what makes this country great, the wartime experience, and how it shaped these men who were barely out of boyhood.
And I had the opportunity to do something that I wouldn't want, but $1 million wouldn't make me do it again. But it's worth $1 million to have done it.
Thank you very much.
very much. Thank you.
We're losing about 800 to 900 veterans a day just because of their age and getting older. And that's history, and we're losing that. And, you know, I want to talk to each and every one of them and hear their stories, hear the sacrifice, because then I take that and I share that with my children.
Bridging that gap between the greatest generation and our young is part of Honor Flight's mission. Students at Harvest Ridge Elementary in St. Charles have written letters of gratitude to the veterans. And they and other students in the district have raised $10,000 for the nonprofit organization. Elementary students haven't learned a lot about World War II because it's not a part of the curriculum. The Honor Flight experience is as much about character education as anything else. For example, they might explore the meaning of sacrifice.
I remembered how it felt for me when my parents were deployed and how it must have felt for them to leave.
And we are having Mason from Columbia, Missouri, who's 11 years old, to help us pass out our mail call.
Soldiers will tell you when they're away at war, the most precious words they can hear is their own name during mail call.
Emra Curry.
Nothing soothes like a letter from home.
How about that, huh?
Louise E.
That was worth the trip, huh?
Dear veteran, first off, I would like to say thank you for all the sacrifices that you have made. You are a role model to me.
My 18-year-old brother is at boot camp for the Navy. He always said that you guys were his inspiration. I really appreciate all you do.
I am glad that American flag is still flying high today.
Your family must be proud to have someone so brave to fight for our country. Sincerely, Madeline.
It must have been hard to know you weren't going to see home our loved ones for a long time.
I hope no one ever forgets the price you paid to save us. Your friend, Colton.
There's something else for a soldier that's as good as mail call, a welcome home. Honor Flight volunteers will repeat this day for another group of World War II veterans as many times as they're able, and see to it that St. Louis area students are part of the experience.
I wish that we could see the look on their faces when the veterans read our letters.
Staying connected to our past and to each other is worth the effort.
This has been one of the most marvelous days that I've had ever. The emotion of the thing and the gratitude of people, it's absolutely, these young people writing such beautiful things about America and the veterans and all this sort of thing. It's just undescribable.
I say the young people need to understand that we know that they care.
I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
It was a long day for us, about 16 hours from beginning to end, but the veterans had plenty of energy. If you'd like to find out more about Greater St. Louis Honor Flight, here's the website, gsl-honorflight.org. You can also find a link on our website.